Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We're so glad that you're able to take some time to learn a little bit more about the Ohio State University at the Newark campus, as well specifically more information about student financial aid. My name is Tracy Schumann, and I am serving as an interim director of enrollment of the Newark campus. I'm so glad to be here with you this evening. I have some wonderful colleagues who will be supporting and co-presenting tonight for you to learn more again about the Newark campus and specifically about student financial aid. We have some important deadlines coming up, so we want to ensure that you're getting all the information that you need. Throughout tonight's presentation, if you have any questions, please use that Q&A feature that is listed below in your Zoom platform. My wonderful colleague, Ginger Williams-Carr, is behind the scenes, and she will be there answering any questions that you might have. To give you an agenda for tonight's presentation, we're going to talk a little bit about the enrollment next steps for students, so you have a better sense of what steps you need to take to become Buckeyes this fall. We're going to talk a little bit about learning communities and opportunities to get involved outside of the classroom. And then the last part of the presentation, maybe the spotlight and highlight of the presentation, is more specifics about student financial aid. We will also leave time for Q&A at the end, but we're excited to be here tonight and really talk through the next steps for our students. So for those of you, particularly right now, who are high school seniors, you're getting to that time of year where you're making that important college decision. A few things that we want to highlight that are really important are some of the responsibilities and things that you should be doing fairly regularly so that you understand the next things that are coming in front of you. First, we really encourage students to access your Ohio State Buckeye email. If you haven't set that up already, you should have been emailed information how to do that. And that's really where a lot of valuable information is going to be shared, including your financial aid notification once we begin releasing that information. If you've decided that you know Ohio State Newark is the place that you're going to be, please pay your $100 acceptance fee. That can be done in our student portal in the applicant center. And this ensures that not only will you begin to get information about orientation and housing, but all of the important things that are coming up for enrollment for this fall. If there's any to-do items, you'll also find that in your Buckeye Link applicant center. Things like submitting a final high school transcript or information regarding financial aid, information about additional documents that you may need to submit. All of that will be listed there as well. To be included, and if you're interested in living in on-campus housing at the Newark campus, our housing lottery is also an important piece. We do have a limited number of spaces on campus, 307 beds to be exact. So students are encouraged and are required to submit and enter this lottery to be considered for housing on campus. And know that orientations will begin this summer, but registration for them actually begins with emails going out on March 1st. So again, doing all of those behind the scene things are really important when it comes to checking your email, checking your to-do list, to ensure that you have all the information and the next steps that you need to take. To highlight a little bit about our tuition and fees for this upcoming year, currently you can see the breakdown between tuition and fees, room and board, and the total cost of attendance. Now, as you can see, there is quite a significant difference between the Newark campus and the Columbus campus. So many of our students, one of the benefits of attending a regional campus is the cost savings that exist. Room and board can vary by student. Some students in the area decide to commute, while others, depending on the on or off campus housing they select, really determines their overall cost for room and board. And again, the overall cost of attendance between the Newark campus and the Columbus campus, you can see the differences listed there. Again, one of the great benefits of attending the Newark campus is the cost savings that many of our students are looking for and take advantage of. One of the things we really like to highlight is the importance of building your Buckeye community and really the thriving campus that Newark has to offer. Last year, we enrolled almost 1,800 new first-year students. That was a record number for us. As I mentioned already, we have 307 residential spaces for our students to live on campus. And of the 88 counties in Ohio, 68 of them were represented by students who enrolled this past year. Our total enrollment is almost 3,000 students. So you will find the Newark campus to be an active, vibrant campus community with lots of students coming all over from the state of Ohio, and really a great opportunity to for you to connect and engage with students from places that you may not have ever heard of or be familiar with, and really have that dynamic first year. We encourage our students to get involved on campus. There's a variety of things for you to do outside of the classroom. We have over 30 clubs and organizations, and they range from academic in nature to community service to things just for fun. We also encourage students, if there's something you're looking for that we don't have, we can help you create that new club or organization and take that moving forward with some of your friends who might have similar interests. We offer intramural sports on campus, a variety of multicultural and faith-based organizations, student government, fun activities like movie and trivia nights, watch parties for sure. And our Newark campus students are eligible for football and basketball tickets, those ever coveted uh, athletic experiences that our students really enjoy as being part of the Ohio State University. Our learning communities are another way that students get connected on campus. These are opportunities for students who, in living in residential housing, are part of a group around a certain theme or a common interest. And this is often where students begin to meet students who have similar interests, but are coming from different backgrounds or different high schools. And really, it helps to make that transition from high school to college a little easier. It allows you to not only live and learn with students who have similar interests, but maybe this is something that you are going to take with you past the out of classroom experience. Maybe it's based on something that you're studying, or you're taking advantage of opportunities for study abroad. These are great ways, again, for students to find that community, and it's sort of built in right in those residence halls for students to take a part of. We also want to highlight the honors program at Ohio State Newark. Many of you in high school right now may be taking a very rigorous curriculum. You may enjoy those honors or AP or CCP courses that are really something you enjoy. And you're looking to have a similar experience at the college level as well. Students have the ability to apply to our honors program. That application is due by April 15th, and you must have a minimum of a 3.6 high school GPA. There's a variety of benefits for that students have some preferential treatment for access to study abroad. We do have private study spaces. And when students graduate with honors from Ohio State, that's actually designated on their diploma. The nice thing about it as well is that if a student is transitioning to the Columbus campus, they also have priority consideration to continue in the honors program as well. So this is a really great way for students to not only continue that rigorous experience, not only their time at Newark, but if transitioning to the Columbus campus, they have that ability as well. We also like to highlight the Lefevre Fellows Program. We know, like many students who in their high school career are really actively involved in service and volunteering. Perhaps you're really the person who leads a variety of those volunteer experiences in your high school or maybe in your community. And that's something you want to continue while you're an Ohio State student. This is a great way to do that for students who want to continue that great spirit of service. This application for this program is also due by April 15th. And the great thing about it is that students are actually take a course around service learning and are required as part of this to complete 30 hours a semester of different types of community service activities. But the benefits are not just that experience. There's also a stipend of $1,250 per semester. So these components, these out of classroom experiences, not only are they great ways to connect with other Buckeyes, to give back, but also a variety of benefits for students that they can use in a number of ways. Now let's talk about the pathway to your degree. First is, as we mentioned earlier, as I mentioned, students have the ability to transition to the Columbus campus after completing their degree, their first year at the Newark campus. But what many people don't know is that there's actually 7 majors available that can be completed. The 4-year degree can actually be completed on the Newark campus. The average class size is about 28 students. We have wonderful faculty who are committed to teaching and research. We actually have no teaching assistants on the Newark campus, and they're really here to support our student and their success. So our students have the ability to really connect with leaders in their industry, to take advantage of things like office hours and free tutoring and the writing lab and math center that exists. So many ways for students to be successful, not only in these 7 majors, but of the 200 plus majors that Ohio State has to offer. Those can be begun at the Newark campus. And it's really a wonderful opportunity for students to have that meaningful classroom experience, meaningful faculty interaction as they move through their 4-year undergraduate degree. Now, as I referenced earlier, there are some students, if you're outside of those 7 majors, who will likely need to transition to the Columbus campus to complete your degree. There are a few components that are required, and the first of which is that you complete 30 college credits after high school graduation. That's always the key piece, is that those 30 credit hours must be completed after high school graduation. Any AP or CCP credits that you're currently earning while in high school cannot go to those 30 hours. You must achieve at least a minimum of a 2.0 GPA. And if those 2 requirements are met, you will complete the campus change process. The great thing about this is that we have advisors and support staff on campus who are going to help you make that transition, help you understand the requirements, the courses, the GPA required, so that if ultimately you are required to transition to the Columbus campus, we can make that process as easy and seamless for you. Again, one of the great benefits is knowing that all of the courses you're taking in Ohio State are in fact Ohio State courses, and your diploma will say The Ohio State University when you graduate. So again, the regional campus, the Newark campus specifically, is really a best of both worlds in that it gives you access to all that Ohio State has to offer. But for many students, starting in a smaller campus community before transitioning to the Columbus campus in a much larger setting there. I want to highlight that we do have some virtual events coming up later in February and into March. And in addition to the enrollment information that I just shared in next steps, we're going to highlight a few of our campus support partners that really make that transition for students really impactful. Again, tonight you're going to hear from Student Financial Aid, but coming up, you'll be hearing from Disability Services, information from our learning communities, more specifics about scholarships. We have an entire event dedicated for housing and the housing lottery. As you can imagine, there are a lot of questions about that. And then finally, we wrap up with student success. So highlighting those services and folks on campus to ensure that our students are making that transition from high school to college successfully and continuing forth to complete their undergraduate degree. These are great ways to learn more about Ohio State, to learn more about the opportunities that exist on the Newark campus, and really for you to maximize your undergraduate experience as you begin being in classes this fall. So a few of the things that, again, we think are really important about the Newark campus is that one is we're closest to the Columbus campus. As we mentioned earlier, you talked a little bit about taking advantage of attending athletic events like football and basketball. That drive, that commute is actually very easy. So it's not uncommon for our students to go to the Columbus campus to participate. We're working closely with students to help them make that smooth transition. Again, with no new admissions application process, meeting that requirement, working through with your advisor, students will successfully be on the path to make that transition for that guaranteed seat in Columbus. We always love to tell students too that even if you graduate from the Newark campus or you make that transition, again, your diploma says The Ohio State University, and you get to graduate with 10 to 12,000 of your closest friends, either in the horseshoe or in the shot, as we celebrate all of our graduates from Ohio State, regardless of campus that they've been on. I want to take some time and thank you again for being here and learning a little bit more about those next steps. I do encourage you to contact the Newark admissions office if you have questions. We have a wonderful team of folks who are here to support you, and we're happy to make some time with you so you can make and feel comfortable about the process for this spring in your senior year. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to my wonderful colleague, Nancy Shepard from Student Financial Services. And she's going to talk you through the important financial aid deadlines and process that are coming up at this point. So Nancy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Tracy. I appreciate it. All right. So as Tracy said, my name is Nancy Shepard. I am a student financial specialist. And first tonight, I want to talk about the FAFSA. The FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. So basically, it's your financial aid application. This is mainly for your federal aid, some state aid, some institutional aid, but it is the application that you do want to be submitting. And you'll submit this every academic year. So the FAFSA that you're going to be doing first is the 2026-27 FAFSA. It is available now. It does have a priority date of February 1st. Now, if you miss that date, that doesn't mean that you won't receive financial aid, but the longer you go past that date, the eligibility drops off a little bit. So the FAFSA is available at studentaid.gov, and you always want to submit the FAFSA regardless of what you think that your family income is, or if you think that you're not going to be eligible. Because like I said, some of the institutional aid is tied to the timing of the FAFSA, and scholarships. Didn't have a problem talking all day until we talk on the webinar here. So also, applicants don't have to have the lowest student aid index number or the highest financial need to be eligible for aid. So even if you think that you're only going to be eligible for student loans, we do highly recommend that you go ahead and submit the FAFSA every academic year. It will become available every October 1st. And again, the priority date will be February 1st of each year. So on the next slide then, we want to talk a little bit more about the FAFSA. OSU does use the student aid index number to determine a student's financial aid offer. The student aid index number, or SAI, that's information that is calculated from the information on the FAFSA. And again, the FAFSA itself is the application for your federal grants, your federal work study, federal student loans, state of Ohio grants, and again, some institutional grants and scholarships. Some of the information that you're going to provide on the FAFSA is demographic information, your taxable and untaxable income from 2024. Even though your student will be starting in 2026, the FAFSA goes off of income information from 2 years prior. So it'll be going off of 2024 taxes. It's also going to ask some information about assets at the time of when the FAFSA is signed and submitted. So next, what you'll need to do, if you haven't done this yet, both your student and at least one parent will need to create your own studentaid.gov account. It's your username and password to log into the FAFSA, provide consent to transfer the tax information from the IRS into the FAFSA, and then also to sign and submit it. So when you are creating the account, students, you don't want to use your high school email, because after you graduate, that will be deactivated. So you want to make sure that you're using a personal email account that you won't forget, and it needs to be separate from the parents' email. Also, phone numbers, your cell phone numbers need to be different, because what they'll do when you've created your account and you go to log into the FAFSA, it will send you like a confirmation code. So you want to make sure that you have separate emails, separate phone numbers. It is going to ask for your social security number and your date of birth. If a parent does not have a social security number, you can still create a studentaid.gov account. You'd provide your personal information, answer some knowledge-based questions, and it will give you some limited functionality for the account, but it will give you enough information that you can fill out the FAFSA. Actually, you went backwards. If you want to go forward, thank you. One more. There you go. This is just a screenshot of what the FAFSA site will look like once you are starting it. We do recommend that that you start the FAFSA as the student. Now, the student and the parent, you can be sitting together when you submit the FAFSA or when you work on it, or the student can work on it themselves. They will send an invitation to the parent to log on and complete their section. So the student is completing their section, parent is completing their separate section. So the student, when they're filling out the information, they will send an invitation to the parent to fill out their section. But it also gives you the option to see to view some tutorial videos if you wanted to, but it's pretty simple. It's a pretty straightforward application. Next, for the student, when you're filling out the FAFSA, it is going to ask what your college or career school plans are. So you want to make sure that you're answering the question, what year will you be attending? And since you're graduating high school this year and starting in the fall, you will say first year. Even if you have completed some CCP courses and you have college credit, but you're always going to say first year for this first FAFSA. Next year, you'll say second year, and then third year, and then fourth year. Also, you'll want to answer no to having a bachelor's degree because the question is saying, do you have one already or will you have one? Not, are you pursuing one? So you want to say no to having a bachelor's degree because once a student does have a bachelor's degree, then you are no longer eligible for the federal Pell Grant. So this is a question that students, I think sometimes they misunderstand. So you're answering it. Will you have a bachelor's degree when you start? No, you'll say no. Then you're going to select the college that you want to attend. So we're assuming OSU. So you can do a search on the colleges either by entering the name of the college, the city of the college and the state, or you can do a search by school code. I think it's much easier to put in the school code, and the OSU school code is listed there. It's that 003090 number. When it comes up, it'll pull up, your options of the college to select. It is going to say Columbus, all campuses. Okay. That is also another question that we get because when a student is starting out at Newark, they think it's totally separate. It's just a separate campus. It's the same school, but a separate campus. And all of the processing is actually done in Columbus. So the school code, it's the same school code for any campus that you attend for OSU. So you do want to go ahead and select OSU, and you can list up to 20 different schools, but we hope that OSU is number one on your list. Now, this is just showing you what the parent invitation will look like. So the invitation will go to the parent's email, and you can select login or accept the invitation from that email. And then the invitation is going to list a code that you'll want to make sure that you save or that you copy and then enter into the invitation so that when you're logging in, it knows that it's you and you can go on from there to fill out your section. Okay. This is, again, just showing what the parent login looks like and that you're entering or that you're accepting the 2026-27 FAFSA invitation. And then if you selected the link from the email invitation, then that access code should automatically populate the field for you. Okay. Now, we've talked a little bit about the FAFSA. That was a very brief overview on how to fill out the FAFSA, but now we'd like to talk about the regional campus commitment and scholarships. So the campus commitment, it begins autumn semester, which starts in August, and it is a new program that OSU is offering to new first-year students who start their associate or bachelor's degree at a regional campus or the Ohio State ATI campus, which is in Worcester. To qualify, a student needs to be an Ohio resident, be enrolled at Ohio State Regional Campus or OSU ATI your first semester. File the FAFSA annually. And again, this is key. The priority date for the FAFSA is February 1st. So you do want to try to go ahead and submit your FAFSA by that date. And you'll need to maintain full-time enrollment, which is considered to be 12 or more credit hours. Now, that may be 4 classes, it may be 5 classes, but it's based on credit hours. So 12 or more. And then you also have to have a combined family adjusted gross income of $100,000 or less. And that information is verified through the FAFSA. So you don't even have to apply separately for the regional campus commitment. You submit the FAFSA and you've been admitted. OSU will look at the information on the FAFSA and they'll automatically offer the regional campus commitment to you if you meet the eligibility requirements. The funding is just for autumn and spring semesters. So if you were to attend summer semester, say summer of 27, you can still attend, you can still receive financial aid, but you would not be able to utilize the regional campus commitment during that summer semester. So it's just autumn and spring semesters each year. And if you start out at the regional campus and each year that you do a new FAFSA, if you still meet the eligibility requirements, even if you transition to the Columbus campus, you can still receive it there as well. Now, the first scholarship I wanted to talk about tonight was the Incoming Freshman Merit Scholarship. This is a scholarship for a total of $4,000. Now, this particular one isn't offered through the financial aid office. It is offered through the admissions office. So to be eligible for this particular scholarship, you do need to have a 3.5 cumulative GPA for it to be renewed for a second year and have completed 30 plus hours. The criteria to be eligible for the scholarship coming into autumn semester is to have a 3.6 cumulative high school GPA. You have to have completed at least 2 advanced placement or CCP courses before your high school graduation. And you'll need to have your final high school transcript sent to OSU for verification of that GPA and your courses taken. Now, this particular scholarship, the funding is limited, so it will be awarded until the funds are exhausted each year. So this is something that you want to make sure that you're meeting those requirements as well. Now, scholarships at OSU, we have more than $1 million of scholarships that are offered every year. Most of the scholarships don't require any other action other than to be admitted and to submit the FAFSA by the priority date. So there is an application for all of the OSU scholarships, though. It's called Scholarship Universe. It's a scholarship matching tool. So it's one application, and you'll fill out the questions, and it will match you to any potential OSU scholarships and some outside scholarship opportunities. Now, it is a portal for OSU scholarships. You might get emails sent to you to remind you to fill out the application. So don't think that this is junk mail. You want to read that and apply as soon as you can. You can apply as soon as you have your OSU ID number and your username, like your last name dot number. If you are an incoming student who doesn't yet have your name dot number, you can follow the link there and still log on and submit the application. For more information about the scholarships, you can go to the address there, the go.osu.edu/Newark scholarships. Now, for most of the Newark scholarships, like I said, it's just a matter of being admitted, filing the FAFSA, and submitting the Scholarship Universe application. But there is a handful of scholarships that might require some additional information. The application due date for these scholarships is March 1st. Some of these scholarships would be like the Harry Binkovitz and Lechi Klein scholarship. What that requires would be a short essay on the Holocaust. Other scholarships that require additional information may be that it's requesting recommendation letters from someone, or maybe that that you show documentation of community service. So there's a handful. Don't ignore those, because I'll tell you, I have been on the committee to review some of these essays, and I'll tell you, not a lot of students apply. So the fewer people that apply, the better possibility that you might have of receiving that scholarship. So make sure that you are applying for all of those. And next, the scholarship recipients, if you receive a scholarship, an offer will be sent to your OSU email. It will come from this email address. Now, it's hardesty.65, and it says mail.cotc.edu. Well, what's COTC? COTC is a second college that we share the campus with OSU. It's Central Ohio Technical College. And our particular office, the Student Financial Services Office, we work for both schools. We're financial aid, so we work for both schools. And my coworker, Lucy Hardesty, is our scholarship coordinator. So she will be the one that sends out the email notifications if you have been offered a scholarship. And then when you receive that email, you'll need to submit a letter of thanks, or a donor thank you letter to the donor, but you'll submit it to Lucy. But all of the details of what you need to do and where you need to send it will be in your scholarship award letter. Now, the awarding of the federal aid, the state aid and such, you may get that notice first, and you may not get the scholarship notification until maybe even May or June. So don't worry if you don't hear anything immediately, because the scholarships are looked at separately. So it might take a little bit longer for us to send out that scholarship offer. Now, the next one, there are some Columbus campus awarded scholarships that are on the Scholarship Universe application. The priority date for those are different. It's different. It's earlier. If you remember, I said that some of those Newark specific scholarships had a priority date of March 1st. The Columbus campus awarded scholarships, even if it's for Newark, the priority date to submit the application is February 1st. So same as the FAFSA deadline. So you want to make sure that you're answering all of the questions in the Tell Us About Yourself section. You'll provide any relevant information about your GPA, your major choice, etc. And all of that information will be added to your profile. So when you are working on the Scholarship Universe application, you can work on it and save it, and work on it and save it. But once you've submitted it, you can't go back and update it. So even if you miss this particular deadline, the February 1st, you'll still have March 1st before, so that you can submit that for the Newark specific scholarships. This deadline is specific to Columbus campus scholarships and those scholarships for Newark that are awarded by the Columbus campus. So February 1st, if you can make it, but you also have March 1st. Now, this is just a very short list of some other suggestions for you to look for outside scholarship opportunities. I obviously don't have all 88 counties of Ohio, but I would look, depending on what county you are from, what county you live in, check to see if it has a county foundation or a community foundation, because they have scholarships specifically for the residents of those counties. So these counties are specific to the area, mainly around the Newark campus. So if you don't see your county there, definitely try to do a search just to see if there is a county or community foundation for your county, and make sure that you're looking for that scholarship application on that website. Many times the scholarship applications are made live, say in November or December, and then may have priority dates or deadlines of January, February, or even March. So I don't know what those dates are. So that's something that you want to go on and start looking and put it on a calendar. If you miss the deadlines for this year, put it on the calendar for next year to apply, because these will, they're not just for incoming freshmen. they're also for continuing students. So this is a good place. I always tell students you want to kind of treat scholarship searching as a part-time job. Now, this is some more suggestions about where to look for some outside scholarships. I would highly recommend that you look within your community at your local businesses. If they have a website, maybe look to see if they have scholarships, or go and talk to the manager. Charitable organizations or service organizations like Rotary Club and Lions Club and Kiwanis, many times they have scholarship opportunities. Check with your parent's employer. Check with your employer. I've seen scholarships come in from McDonald's and places like that. So check out to see if they have some opportunities. If you attend church, check with your church. On the right side of the screen, that's a short list of search sites where you can go in and put in your own criteria, and then it will send back potential scholarship opportunities. I always tell students, if you have one brown eye and one blue eye, if you're left-handed, if you have, certain interests that you have, or, you play a certain musical instrument or whatever, these are things that you can do a search on, and it would send back those possible opportunities. Now, be careful with your search sites. If it's asking for money, you don't want to use it because you don't want to spend money to make free money. And if it's asking for your personal information, date of birth, social security number, things like that, you don't want to use it. But these sites should be reputable, and you can use them safely. So that, I believe, is pretty much all I had. If anybody has some questions, if you wanted to put it in the chat, you can. Or, as I said earlier with Lucy's email, if you have questions about OSU scholarships, you are more than welcome to reach out to her, and she would be happy to answer your questions. So I'll throw it back to you, Tracy.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for a great presentation. I do want to pause and give people the opportunity to put some questions that they might have in the Q&A feature or in the chat. Again, my colleague Ginger is behind the scenes monitoring that, so we're happy to answer any questions that you all have. I know as we're approaching February 1st, it's hard to believe the month of January is almost over. And hopefully everybody is surviving the cold and the snow. I think that's one theme that we're all experiencing. Maybe it's a good time if we're all home and don't have anything else to do, is to fill out that FAFSA, fill out those scholarship applications and those essays while you've got a little extra time on your hands, and make the time make some money for you in the long run to help you with college. Ginger, I'm just going to throw it over to you real quick. Do we have any questions from Nancy or myself?
They wanted that first scholarship slide shown back again. Tracy, if you could show
Sure.
that.
Let me scroll back. Was it this one?
I believe so.
Okay.
These are probably more for Nancy. Is the scholarship for merit automatically assigned?
Yeah, if the student has been admitted and they meet the criteria, that information, when they are submitting their admissions application, that goes to the admissions office. And that's why you want to make sure that you get your final high school transcript to them as soon as possible, because they will automatically look at the students and look to see who might be making those eligibility requirements. But if they don't have your final high school transcript, might take a little bit. So yeah, you don't have to fill out the Scholarship Universe application for that particular scholarship. Basically, you need to be admitted to OSU.
Okay. The next one was about their parent is having problems making account for FAFSA. So could we possibly go back to that parent slide for the FAFSA?
So it depends on the issues that the parent is having. If you can't let us know what the potential issue is right now, that's perfectly fine. What you may need to do, though, is to contact the Department of Education. The phone number for them would be 1-800-433 1-800-433-8243, I believe. If that doesn't work, you can contact our office and we can give you that number. I just don't have it right in front of me. I might be able to see if I can find it, but 1-800-433-8243, I believe, is the phone number. So what they would do, that's the folks, they work with the studentaid.gov website and the studentaid.gov accounts, and they can try to maybe troubleshoot what the issue is. I don't know specifically, if you said what the issue was, but like I said, their email needs to be separate from yours, and their cell phone number needs to be separate from yours as well. You want to make sure that everything, don't use the same social security number, don't use the same date of birth, obviously, but if you do have, if you wanted to call our office, you certainly can. We're not open tonight, but tomorrow we should be back in. And our phone number is 740-366-9435. And we can try to answer your questions then.
Tracy, I think they're on the very first slide from Nancy's slide deck. So it's asking to show the very first slide. So can we go back to that? There we go.
Okay.
I'm hoping it's that one that they're on. They said the very first slide. All I'm getting is the very first slide on this. So while we're doing that, when does the FAFSA financial aid package usually released, Nancy?
So again, it depends on what you mean by release. If you're asking when your student might receive their financial aid email, I just asked Columbus yesterday, and they said probably say mid to late March is when they're going to be sending out their award notifications, and that will go to the student's OSU email. Now, if you're saying release on when does the aid get applied toward their tuition and fees balance, that usually happens. You'll be able to see it on their statement of account as pending, say 2 to 4 weeks before the semester starts or when fees are due. But the earliest that the aid is actually applied to the account, and if a refund is generated, that's 10 days before the semester starts. And so then the refunds are usually sent out the week before classes start. If the student has signed up for direct deposit, they can do that on their My Buckeye link. If they haven't signed up for direct deposit, that's fine. A refund check would be mailed to them. But that could take longer because, one, it's going through the Postal Service, so you would need to allow probably at least 7 to 10 business days. Plus, the refunds aren't mailed at the same time that the direct deposit refunds are generated. So it does take a little bit longer. But the aid notification email itself, probably mid to late March is when your student should be receiving that.
That's all that I have on my end, unless anybody wants to put any more on.
Well, let's just give it another 30 seconds or so. And if not, then what we will do at this point, we'll begin to wrap up. I want to thank everyone for participating and attending this evening. I know that, again, there are times where this information, especially as we're getting to deadlines, is crucial. And so I'm just thankful to have Nancy and Ginger here to help answer questions. And again, as we shared, please take advantage of contacting our offices. That's what we're here for. A lot of general financial aid information like the FAFSA is going to be very similar to any of the colleges, universities you're looking at. But we have so many wonderful specific Newark opportunities, whether it's through Scholarship Universe or the specific scholarships that Nancy referred with that may have some essays. There's a variety of ways and things that we want students to be able to take advantage of and truly make Ohio State Newark an affordable option for you all. So again, we want to thank you all for taking some time tonight. And as I see, it seems like we might have a couple questions coming in. We'll go ahead and wrap up here and try to answer those questions as we come to an end. Thanks.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I got a couple more questions here, Tracy. One was, are they going to be sharing this presentation? We are videotaping this, and it will be put on the Ohio State University-Newark's YouTube channel page. So you will be able to see that there. So I can answer that one for you. can we get the phone numbers again?
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe they are asking about the Department of Ed phone number to help the parent with their studentaid.gov account. And I think I gave you one digit wrong. It's 1-800-433-3243.
And then this one is to you again, Nancy. The parent is asking, who should we ask to help when we make the call about the FAFSA help? So
Whoever answers the phone at that phone number, that's what they do. They're assisting students and parents with the studentaid.gov account, questions that you may have about the FAFSA, et cetera. If it's real specific to, say, your college, then they'll tell you to call the college. But for help with filling out the FAFSA, how to answer one of the questions or something, or to create that studentaid.gov account, that whoever answers at that phone number should be able to help you.
okay, that's looks like that's all that I have. So
All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks again, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. And as always, go Buckeyes.